Viewers, in this video, I'm going to show you how to work with SQL. And one of the things you also have to understand about SQL is that SQL has to be run in an SQL editor or an SQL environment. Now, there are different types of SQL editors. For example, you have SQL Online, Run SQL, SQL Fiddle, CodeChef, and so many of them. Now let's check them. Let's go to Google. If I click on my Google, and I type on, because I want to use an online SQL editor, I can say online SQL editor. You can see it has popped up here. If I click this, we see different ones. We have online SQL editor, program Maze. We have SQL Online. This is the one we're going to make use of. We have W3 Schools, which is also very good. We have Run SQL. You have Play Code. You have Server, Online Editor, and Compiler. So let's just go right into the one we need. We'll work with this one, SQL Online, IDE, and the rest of it. So I right click as usual, open on a new tab, click open. So it opens up here. So this is my SQL Online. Quickly, let me describe the screen so that you can understand how it works. Now, in the SQL Online, first you have this top panel here. The two most important things you need to know here is the import, which is what you use to load the file into SQL Online or SQLite. It's actually SQLite. Then export. If you have finished your cleaning, finished your editing, or finish your cleaning of your data and analysis, you can export it. Every time you import a file, it will show here under the table here. You also, in this area, is where you enter. This is your code editor, where you enter your query editor or code editor, where you enter your SQL commands. Whatever you run here will show below here. Then the commands that is being executed and the errors will show on this right panel here. So let's take a simple example. But before you use SQL, let's note that you need to be able to convert your file to CSV file. Now, for example, if I try to import an Excel file, I click import, I click open. Now, the file we have been using, I think we stored it in data analysis. The file we'll be using under data analysis update. Okay, now you see all these files here. Let me remove these custom files there and put all files. I want all files to be displayed. Now I have other files, the files we've actually been using for both our Excel and our Power BI is the banking with data reference. If I click on this file and I click open, and you will see that it tries to open the file. This is the output of the file, but you see that it generates some codes, which it means that by the time you open this file in SQL, it's not going to come out properly. So what we need to do is to change this file, the file we have just opened, to a CSV file. So what will happen is we'll close this, we'll go to Explorer. This is the file we just opened now. We will double click it, and we double click it, it opens up. This is our file data. Okay, let me come back to the source, open it up here. This is the file itself. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to save this file in CSV so that it can be easily worked with or accessed by SQL. So I click and I come to Save As, come to Excel Workbook. Now, if you see now, it's banking data reference. I will change the name to banks or banks 4 because I already have banks already. So let me say banks 4. But now it says save as type. I'm not going to use Excel. I'm going to use CSV, which is comma delimited, or another word for it is comma separated values file. So if I select this, you discover that this type of file, I want to save my banks 4 or banks. You can see the other ones, banks 2, banks 3. I just use this for example. I click save. So this file, okay, it says the selected file type does not support workbooks that contain multiple sheets. Just click OK, click yes. Now, what is important, I'm focusing on this now. I want to save this record. Now I've saved it as banks 4 as a CSV file. So if I close it now and I click yes, save again, yes, whatever, yes, I go back to my SQL, I click import, I click open. Now you see my banks 4 here. I click this and I click open. You will now see now that the records are showing properly. It means that this file is good to go and the file type is CSV. So I will, let me see again, I click import. But for this lesson, I will use these banks so it will make our coding go easier. I've already converted it to a CSV file. Yes, it's a CSV file because if I select custom file CSV, because SQL only mostly recognizes CSV files. So all these ones are saved. If I select all files, we see the other files that are also part of not CSV. But if I select custom files, which is meaning that these are CSV files, I'll select banks because this one's has already been converted to CSV. I click open. You can see the records are showing properly. I scroll down and I click OK. When I click OK, my banks come here. The table now comes here. Now, if I want to display the content of these banks, I'll simply type in SQL. I will type this command here. Pay attention. Let me remove this one now. The command to display the content of your file is select in capital letter, asterisk. Asterisk means all files from banks. Select asterisk from banks. Why banks? Banks is the table name, and I put a semicolon. So this is the proper command, and I run it. If I run it, you will see now all the information in this file are being shown. Now, things to note from here. Let's see the records. First, you see a CCC column. Let me open this up. You see that this is what the SQL Analyst recognizes. The top columns are C, 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 C1, C2, C3, C4. These are the ones. If I double click them now, I click one of it. Okay, let me come down here. Then under it is actually where the real health column headers are. So let me just double click one and see how it shows you now. It opens the row. If you notice that C1 is null, C2 is countries number, C3 is ID, C4 is countries. These are the original column headers. C5 is banks, C6 is year, C7 RRI, C8, and you continue on to, for example, you look at all this one too. C13 is depth, which is like our last file. So it continues to C22. This one is not really important yet. So C22, okay, RRI or C23. So these are the real column headers, but they are represented in C1, C2, C3 in this program here. So I've selected all the files from banks. Okay, let's make a reference to our manual. If I open my data analysis manual here, so we have entered this, I have clicked run. Now, if we come back, we want to view selected portion of the table. We can say select C4 and C5 from banks. This displays countries, which is C4 and C5. So I can just copy here, or you can type, right click and click copy. Then go back to my SQL, remove this code here, right click here and click paste. So I said select C4 and C5 from banks. What is C4? If I double click here, any of these ones here, what is C4? C4 is countries, C5 is banks. So I am telling the program now to display both just the countries and the banks from the table called banks. I run it. You will discover now this is now being displayed. This is now being displayed. You can see just countries and banks, the records for countries and banks. Okay, so let's make progress. Then if I want to select distinct C4, distinct countries from bank, another way this displays unique countries C4 in the data set. So if I highlight this and copy it, right click and copy, I click on this, I now select all this, then paste the correct code I want. So what's the code now? Select distinct C4, select distinct countries from bank. If I run the code, it will show me countries, the distinct countries. So in the data set I have Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea-Bissau, Mali, Niger, Senegal, and Togo. These are only the countries that are in this data set. Okay, let's make progress. If I click on this, now we're going to clean. So in this, we're going to clean in this data set. To clean, the first thing we want to do is to delete unwanted columns. So how do we delete an unwanted column? We use the command alter the table, banks, that's the name of the table, drop column 1, that means another word for delete column 1. Then select all from banks, display the content again. So let me copy from here to this column here, right click and copy, go back to my SQL, come here and paste it. So you see now, alter the table banks, drop column 1, select from banks. If you notice, you have column 1 here. Now if I run this and I check under my banks column 1 has been deleted because I said drop it. If I change this to column 2 and I run it, that means I'm telling you to drop column 2 because I don't need it. I run it. If I go back and check the results, column 2 has been deleted. So that is how you remove a column. Now remember, we are cleaning. The next thing to do is to remove what? Duplicates, just the way we did it in Excel, and we also did it in Power BI. Let's see the code for it in SQL, structured query language. We use the command create a table. That means I'm telling you to create a table, and what is the name of that new table? Is called banks clean. That means I have cleaned it. As this table should have the content select distinct all from bank. It's simply saying that in this banks clean, select all the distinct records from banks and store it in banks clean. Then it goes further to say drop the table, just like you said drop the column. Here you use drop column, but here you are saying drop table banks. That means drop this banks that was there before. Alter the table, just like you said, alter the table banks, alter the table banks clean, and rename it to banks. That means the new one you created, which has distinct records inserted into it, rename that new one again to banks and select all from banks. So we copy this, right click, copy, go to this, run it, click, paste. So you can see it's the same command here. Create table as banks clean, select distinct from banks, drop table banks, alter table banks, rename to banks, and display. If I run it, you will see it has, this code now has removed any kind of duplicate. So if there are duplicate records, it has automatically removed it. Now let's make progress. Now the next thing we'll do is to know how to change or update record text. We did it in Excel, we did it in Power BI. So for example, now you want to update the records in banks. You will now say set C4 equals to Benin. This is the correct one. Where C4 is equals to Benin, this is the wrong one. Select all from banks. Now let's copy this, right click it and click copy. We go to our SQL and we click paste here, paste it. Now we want to be sure that this Benin that is not correct is the same thing in the table, because if it's not the same, you will have errors. So let me go. If I check my table very well, I see BBB here. I'll discover because this is kind of packed together or in reduced size. If I double click, I will say that this is the Benin this apostrophe, I don't want it. So I copy this one, right click, copy. This is the correct one. This is the one that needs to be changed. This is country. I close it. I come to this Benin here because it's not exactly the same. I paste it, Control V. You can see. So this is the one. I want this record to set this one. Anyway, it sees this one, set it as the correct one and show me the records. And I click. Remember, before we continue, if I double click now, what was there before now is let me see. Let me cancel this under Benin. Let me see. You see it's Benin with an apostrophe. So what do we want now? What are we doing? We're going to run it. If you run it now, the codes have been run here. Now let's check. If we double click here, we discover now it has been set to Benin, the correct one. Let's try another country. Let me scroll down. I will use another country that may not be correct. Let me see this one. This S here. S is Senegal. Okay, Senegal also has issues. I can copy this one. This is the wrong one. Click copy, cancel here. Now say change to what? To the correct one, which is Senegal. Then the wrong one here, I will paste it here, Control V. You see, I'm changing this one to this. If I run it, okay, and I scroll down now to confirm whether it has edited that color. That's country. Let me check S. I'm scrolling down. Okay, see Senegal here. I double click it. You will now notice that the correct one is there. So that's how you deal with text. Now let me go back to the manual and move up. It's the same thing here with Côte d'Ivoire. Now to update records, round numbers to decimal place. One of the things we did in the previous, both in Excel and in Power BI, what we did was to round our decimal numbers from 4 decimal places to 2 decimal places. What do I mean? If we go to our numbers, we click any of these numbers here, double click it, you see the decimal from C7 is 4.31111. How many decimal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can see each of them is almost 8 decimal places, but I want to change it to 2 decimal places. So I will work on just 3, C7, C8, and C9. So what am I going to do? I'll enter the code. Let me explain the code first. Select round C7 to 2 decimal places as C7. Round C8 to 2 decimal places as C8. Round C9 to 2 decimal places as C9 from banks. Now, if you want more, you continue C10, C11, C12, but let's use this and work with it. Right click and copy and go back to our SQL, then remove this, paste it, you see it here. So select round C7, this, the same code here. So we run it. When we run it now, you discover now, you see that C7, you can see now it has all been converted to 2 decimal places. So this is how you load data and clean the data in SQL. I hope you have understood the lecture. My name remains Vincent Hope. Thank you for watching and have a blessed day.